Spring is here, and the deals are hotter than ever at Shack Shop. Turn heads with stunning bikinis, now on sale. Explore the deep with cutting-edge underwater drones. Gear up for adventure with durable tents for every trip. Ride into spring with unbeatable deals on bikes. Fresh styles, women's fashion, and must-have looks, all discounted. Don't miss the Shack Shop Spring Fling Sale. These prices won't last. Shop now and make this spring unforgettable, only at Shack Shop.
After more than a decade together, Kimora Lee Simmons and her husband, Tim Leissner, are officially going their separate ways. The split comes at a dramatic moment, just as Leissner begins serving a federal prison sentence tied to one of the largest global financial scandals in recent history. According to court filings, Leissner signed divorce documents in early February, only days before reporting to prison. The paperwork was later submitted in April, making their separation public and formalizing the end of a 12-year marriage that had largely remained out of the spotlight. The reason cited for the breakup was irreconcilable differences, a common legal phrase that offers little detail but signals a definitive end to the relationship. Timing raises questions. The timing of the divorce filing has drawn particular attention. Leissner reportedly completed the paperwork just 2 days before surrendering to authorities to begin his 2-year sentence at a federal correctional facility. His legal troubles date back years, stemming from his involvement in the massive One Malaysia Development Berhad scandal, commonly known as the 1MDB case. The scandal involved billions of dollars allegedly misappropriated from a Malaysian sovereign wealth fund intended to drive economic development. U.S. investigators estimate that approximately $4.5 billion was siphoned from the fund through complex financial schemes designed to obscure the origin and destination of funds. Leissner previously pleaded guilty and cooperated with authorities, eventually receiving a prison sentence. During sentencing, he publicly expressed regret, acknowledging the harm caused by his actions and apologizing to the people affected. Custody and financial requests. In the divorce filing, Leissner made several notable requests that could shape the outcome of the proceedings. He is seeking joint custody of their young son, Wolf, spousal support from Kimora, termination of any future alimony obligations toward her. These requests suggest that financial considerations may play a significant role in the divorce process, particularly given Kimora's continued success as a businesswoman and media personality. Kimora has not publicly commented on the filing as of now, and her representatives have remained silent on the matter. Kimora's quiet acknowledgement of change. Although she has not addressed the divorce directly, Kimora hinted at major life changes in a recent interview. Reflecting on her journey, she referenced shifts in her personal and professional life, including changes in relationships. Her comments suggested a forward-looking mindset, emphasizing growth and adaptation rather than focusing on past difficulties. Known for her resilience, Kimora has navigated multiple phases of life, from model to fashion mogul, reality TV star, and entrepreneur, while maintaining a strong presence in both business and pop culture. Inside Kimora's blended family. Beyond her high-profile relationships, Kimora is the center of a large and dynamic family. She often describes herself as managing multiple roles within her household, balancing responsibilities as a parent, provider, and leader. Her family includes children from different relationships. With Russell Simmons, she shares 2 daughters, Ming Lee, now pursuing modeling and creative ventures, Aki Lee, a Harvard graduate known for both academics and fashion. With actor Djimon Hounsou, she has a son, Kenzo, who is active in athletics. She also adopted a son, Gary, expanding her family further. With Leissner, she shares her youngest child, Wolf. In addition, Kimora has embraced a maternal role for a bonus child, further illustrating the blended and supportive structure of her household. Life after the split. Kimora appears to be focusing on her career, family, and personal evolution. Her reality series and business ventures continue to keep her in the public eye, while her parenting remains a central priority. The divorce marks another chapter in her life, one defined not just by challenges, but by reinvention. Meanwhile, Leissner is expected to remain incarcerated until late 2027, according to available records. His legal situation and financial standing may continue to influence divorce proceedings as they move forward. The bigger picture. This high-profile separation highlights the intersection of personal relationships and public scandals. It's a reminder that even private marriages can be deeply affected by legal and financial turmoil on a global scale. For Kimora, the focus now appears to be stability and forward momentum. For Leissner, the coming years will be defined by legal consequences and rebuilding after one of the most significant financial scandals in modern history. A closer look at the 1MDB scandal and its global impact. To fully understand the weight behind Tim Leissner's legal troubles and how they may have influenced the breakdown of his marriage to Kimora Lee Simmons,
it's important to examine the broader scope of the 1MDB scandal. The 1MDB Fund was originally established as a strategic investment initiative by the Malaysian government. Its mission was ambitious: stimulate economic growth, attract foreign investment, and finance infrastructure projects that would benefit the nation's long-term development. Instead, it became the center of an international financial scandal that stretched across multiple continents, implicating bankers, politicians, and high-profile intermediaries. Investigators later revealed that billions of dollars were allegedly diverted through a network of shell companies, luxury purchases, and complex financial maneuvers designed to obscure the origin and destination of funds. The scandal didn't just shake Malaysia, it sent shockwaves through global financial systems. Major institutions were scrutinized, regulations tightened, and public trust in large banking entities was significantly impacted. Leissner, once a respected executive at Goldman Sachs, played a central role in arranging bond deals that ultimately became part of the controversy. His cooperation with authorities later helped prosecutors build cases against other individuals involved, but it did not absolve him of responsibility. From elite banker to convicted felon. Before his legal downfall, Leissner lived a life that many would consider aspirational. As a high-ranking banker, he operated within elite financial circles, managing massive deals and interacting with powerful figures around the world. His marriage to Kimora further elevated his public profile, merging high finance with celebrity culture. Together, they represented a blend of wealth, influence, and global connectivity. But the unraveling of the 1MDB case dramatically altered that trajectory. Leissner's guilty plea in 2018 marked the beginning of a long legal journey that would eventually lead to a sentencing. During court proceedings, details emerged about falsified documents, misrepresentations to investors, and internal failures that allowed the scheme to progress. His eventual prison sentence, while shorter than some expected, reflected both the severity of his actions and his cooperation with authorities. For Kimora, the consequences were less direct, but no less impactful. Being connected to a figure at the center of such a scandal inevitably brings public scrutiny, regardless of personal involvement. The emotional toll behind the headlines. While headlines focus on legal filings and financial crimes, the human side of this story is equally significant. A marriage lasting over a decade doesn't dissolve overnight. The pressures leading to this point likely built over years, especially as Leissner's legal issues unfolded in the public eye. For Kimora, balancing her roles as a mother, entrepreneur, and public figure while navigating her husband's legal crisis would have required immense resilience. Maintaining stability for her children, particularly their young son Wolf, may have been a central priority throughout this period. Relationships often face strain under normal circumstances. When layered with international scandal, criminal proceedings, and the looming reality of incarceration, those pressures can become overwhelming. Though neither party has publicly detailed the private dynamics of their relationship, the decision to file for divorce just before incarceration suggests a turning point, perhaps one that had been approaching for some time. Financial implications of the divorce. Divorce proceedings involving high-net-worth individuals are rarely simple, and this case is no exception. Kimora's success spans decades. From her early modeling career to building the iconic Baby Path brand, she has established herself as a formidable businesswoman. Her ventures in fashion, media, and branding continue to generate income and maintain her relevance in a competitive industry. Leissner's financial situation, however, is more complicated. Legal penalties, fines, and reputational damage often have long-lasting financial consequences. While exact figures tied to his current net worth remain unclear, his involvement in the 1MDB scandal likely impacted his earning capacity and financial standing. This dynamic adds complexity to his request for spousal support. Courts typically consider multiple factors when determining support arrangements, including each party's income, earning potential, and contributions during the marriage. Additionally, his request to terminate Kimora's ability to receive alimony introduces another layer of negotiation that could become a focal point in legal proceedings. Custody and family stability. At the heart of the divorce is the well-being of their son Wolf. Leissner's request for joint custody indicates a desire to remain actively involved in his child's life, despite his incarceration. However, practical considerations, such as physical custody arrangements,
during his prison term, will likely influence the court's decisions. Kimora, as the primary caregiver, is expected to maintain day-to-day responsibility. Her established role within the family and stable home environment may weigh heavily in custody determinations. The broader family dynamic also plays a role. Wolf is part of a large, blended household with siblings of varying ages, each contributing to a support system that can provide continuity during times of change. Maintaining that stability will likely be a key priority for Kimora as she navigates this transition. Kimora's evolution, reinvention through every chapter. One of the defining aspects of Kimora's public persona is her ability to evolve. She first gained recognition as a model, becoming one of the most prominent faces in the fashion industry at a young age.
Her transition into entrepreneurship with Baby Fat showcased her business acumen, turning the brand into a cultural phenomenon. Later, her presence in reality television offered audiences a glimpse into her personal and professional life, further solidifying her status as a multifaceted figure. Now, as she moves through another significant life change, that same adaptability appears to be guiding her forward. Her comments about shifting careers, investments, and relationships suggest a pragmatic approach, one that embraces change rather than resists it. Public image and media narrative. Celebrity divorces often become media spectacles, but Kimora's approach has been notably measured. Rather than engaging in public disputes or releasing detailed statements, she has maintained a relatively low profile regarding the situation. This restraint contrasts with many high-profile separations that play out in the public arena. By keeping the focus on her work and family, she appears to be shaping the narrative on her own terms. Leissner's situation, on the other hand, remains tied to ongoing discussions about financial ethics, corporate accountability, and global corruption. Together, their stories intersect at a unique crossroads of celebrity culture and international finance, a combination that continues to capture public attention. The broader conversation about accountability. The 1MDB scandal sparked widespread debate about accountability within global financial systems. How could such a large-scale scheme occur? What safeguards failed, and who should be held responsible? Leissner's case represents just one piece of a much larger puzzle. While individuals can be prosecuted, systemic issues often require broader reforms to prevent similar situations in the future. For audiences following this story, the divorce adds a personal dimension to these larger questions. It highlights how the consequences of financial misconduct extend beyond boardrooms and courtrooms, affecting families, relationships, and lives in profound ways. What comes next for both parties? Looking ahead, both Kimora and Leissner face very different paths. Kimora's trajectory appears focused on growth and continuity. Her businesses, media presence, and family life provide a foundation for moving forward independently. Leissner, meanwhile, must navigate the realities of incarceration and eventual reintegration into society. His future, both professionally and personally, will likely depend on how he rebuilds after serving a sentence. The divorce proceedings themselves may take time to resolve, particularly given the financial and custodial elements involved. A story of contrast and consequence. At its core, this story is a story of contrast. On one side, a self-made entrepreneur continuing to expand her influence and maintain stability for her family. On the other, a former financial executive confronting the consequences of actions that reshaped his life and reputation. Their separation marks the end of a shared chapter, but also the beginning of two very different journeys. Why this story resonates. Stories like this resonate because they combine elements that capture public attention: wealth, power, scandal, and personal transformation. But beyond the headlines, they also reflect universal themes: resilience, accountability, and the ability to move forward after significant challenges. For Kimora, this chapter reinforces her long-standing narrative of independence and reinvention. For Leissner, it serves as a reminder of how quickly success can unravel and the lasting impact of decisions made behind closed doors. Final thoughts. As the divorce unfolds and Leissner serves his sentence, the full impact of these events will continue to develop. What remains clear is that both individuals are entering new phases of their lives, shaped by past decisions, present realities, and future possibilities. For those watching from the outside, this story offers more than just celebrity news. It provides insight into the complex intersections of personal relationships, public image, and global events. And as with many high-profile cases, its true conclusion may take years to fully understand.